A third of Pakistan submerged by historic flooding, an earlier than usual wildfire season in Spain and Portugal, a year of drought driving parts of Africa to starvation, and China recording its longest ever heat wave. The head of the United Nations says this is our planet sending us a distress signal.
We need to move from tipping points to turning points for hope.
More than 190 countries are taking part in this year's COP27 summit, unlike previous meetings like Paris and Glasgow that aimed to hammer out agreements. The focus here will be on implementation and accountability.
No one can be a mere passenger on this journey.
On the agenda is a discussion about a so-called loss and damage fund, a pool of money set up to compensate developing nations for damage linked to climate change. Richer nations like the US and Australia have so far resisted the idea.
That has been quite a controversial topic because of talks about compensation and fears of liability for rich nations.
The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, won't attend this conference. Instead, two ministers will lead discussions with Pacific nations that are already vulnerable to climate change, nations that'll need to back in Australia's bid to co-host this conference in 2026.
We're here to listen to the Pacific priorities and help be part of the solution, because that will deliver jobs for us and justice for the Pacific.
Australia, the world's largest carbon emitter per capita, will have a lot to prove over the next 2 weeks.
And Alison Horne joins us now. Alison, what's the reaction there been to our Prime Minister's absence at Sharm el-Sheikh?
Jeremy, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has listed other commitments like this week's sitting of Parliament and the G20 conference as reasons why he won't be attending this 2-week summit. But his absence here has been noted by observers, particularly as Australia seeks to host this sort of a conference in just 4 years' time. And this now is really the opportunity for Australia to prove its environmental credentials. One of the most important conversations that he would have had if he were here would be around this loss and damage fund, highly important for our Pacific neighbours. A short time ago, I did ask the Minister here, Pat Conroy, whether Australia supports this. He said in principle they support this discussion, but he certainly wouldn't commit to any financial backing or put an economic figure on what Australia might contribute to the pool.
Alison Horne reporting.